When I was doing that 10 years in prison from the age of 16 to 26 years old, when I did that decade, I used to think that if I get transferred to this other unit after I was at this one unit, and it seems like, I don't know, it wasn't no opportunities there. I used to think, man, if I can get to this unit, I can be, in a better situation. And the only thing was different from one unit to other than one might have a program, like when I went to welding. One might have a different educational system. One might be closer to my mom. At the time, I always tried to stay closer to my mom. And then once I got married, because I ended up getting married in prison, then I got closer to my wife at the time, and she stayed in Newport. So I ended up going to the Newport unit because she was able to visit me more frequently. You know what I mean? So I used to think that if I moved to one unit to the next, that the situation would be better. Not realizing one key factor. I was still in prison, family. It didn't matter what unit they sent me to, literally, because I was still in prison. Now, even though I was incarcerated, if I went to another place, I gained another skill. When I got shipped from Newport to Dearmont, I gained another skill. When I got shipped from, say, Pine Bluff to Vernon unit to go to Votech, I learned another skill. When I was in Newport, I got my GED. So it was different things I was doing in different units, but I was still in prison. It's going to be things that you're going to do in life that you might still be in a situation, but not paying attention to the things you're accomplishing, even though you're in that messed up situation. And you have to realize one thing, that your freedom is knowing, gaining that knowledge. Because once you know better, it's easy for you to look at the situation differently. See, even though I was in prison, I was still hungry trying to accomplish things. I was accomplishing things. And I felt at times as if I moved here or there, I could do more things, but I was still in prison. And I think about it now, traveling, going to different cities. No matter where I go in America, me being a black welder, just to be honest, I can't change that fact. I can't change the fact that I'm cultured, that I got a beard and gold teeth, that I'm bold. Certain things you can't change in America. And no matter where I go, I have always faced some type of racism, literally, some type of prejudice, some type of bias. And I always wonder, like, man, I would have thought if I get to this place, things are going to be a whole lot better, Not realizing that I'm still in prison. So even though that I'm here and I'm free, I realize there's some things that I'm still going to be in prison to in America. I'm still going to be judged and belittled in certain areas. I'm still going to be profiled, stereotyped, no matter where I go to, no matter, how you try to switch it up. And that's why I just said, I'm going to be me. That's why I never switched it up, my culture. I know who I am. And I feel like that it took that time for me to grow, for me to realize those things now, for me to just share that with you now, because I think of that, and I know I'm not the only person that have experienced it, and you go through it and you wonder, but the good thing about it is you still can accomplish things. There's going to be prisons in life. There's going to be thorns in your side. No matter where you go or what you try to do, you're going to have to just deal with something. And like I say, being a black man in America, that's something that I got to deal with as long as I'm alive, because if I'm not judged by my peers, then I'm judged by the others that's watching me. So sometimes it's harder to even network with your own, especially if y'all from that same soil, because sometimes they wonder, well, how could you be better than me? And it ain't nothing about being better. It's just about one person being educated more than the other, but willing to pick that other person up. But one thing that I learned, that you can't help no one that's not willing to help themselves. If you're willing to sacrifice everything, you might not have only a few that's willing to do the same. And those are the ones you build your team with. But as we get older, as we get wiser, and I think older doesn't necessarily have to do with age, but it does do with age, if that makes sense. You know, I can be honest with you and tell you that I actually became a grown man in my middle 30s, late 30s, like 37. You know what I mean? That's when I can really say 37, 38 that I was grown. Like, I faced it, everything. Like, I realized what life was, and it hit me. I was like, man, like, it was what it was. And I can be honest with you, like, you know, when you, in my early 30s, I seen different. You know, I looked at life different. In my early 20s and in my teens, you know, we all changed. So I can say age has something to do with it, but getting that knowledge and understanding the situation is key. So I just wanted to say that no matter what situation we're going through, we're always going to face some type of prison in life. There's always going to be some type of disadvantage. You know, there's always going to be something you're going to have to deal with in spite of. So I just have to keep in mind that even though I was in the lowest place you can be while you're alive, which is in prison, because in America, prison is give them the right to treat you like a slave, literally. So when you being there, you see people for who they are. You recognize your own mistakes, and you have to embrace them. You know, you have to change. You have to learn from them. So I realized that it doesn't matter where I go, we're always gonna face something. But things can get better, but you're always gonna face something. So just be prepared for whatever. Just realize that whatever you're going through, you're gonna always go through something, and you're gonna always survive something and accomplish things. And I think, you know, like my aunt Anime used to tell me, she used to say, we either going through something, we in it, or we coming out of it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we have to keep our faith and stay stand fast, and just remember that, you know, everything isn't gonna be easy. It's okay. You know, but the main thing is to keep our healthy mentality, our healthy heart, stay focused, realize that you can make the best out of prison. HogOn.